What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the show, Performance Medicine Show. We do this every single Tuesday around 7 o'clock. You can tell I'm a little bit under the weather here. So I'm probably not going to be doing as much talking as normal. But D. Lynn, what's going on? One step forward. Great question. Jack, what's up, man? Roel, happy Thanksgiving to you, brother. Mark, what's going on? From the 304, back at you from the 865 over here in Knoxville, Tennessee. So glad to have you guys here. We're going to be answering y'all's questions tonight. We're going to get to a lot of live questions tonight. We didn't have as many come in throughout the week. Excuse me. No promises that that's not going to happen throughout the evening. I'm going to try so that it's not a distraction to everybody. Let's see here. Who do we got? Are we on Facebook? I see we're on YouTube. I see all my family there. Cherry, what's going on? Great to see you. Happy Thanksgiving week. Thank you for letting me know we're over live on Facebook. Mike, what's going on? Great to see you. Great to see you, man. Can you guys hear me okay? Sorry about the voice. But you know, this is what this show's about. We're trying to to answer all y'all's questions each week. Katie, what's going on? Gosh, you guys are just having a fantastic week and doing incredible. Shout out to everyone, all of our team inside the performance medicine offices. They've been super busy this week, and everybody's handled it just beautifully with a smile on their face. And Katie's leading the charge there. So Katie, thank you so much. So proud of you guys in all the locations. My goodness. D, thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like I'm towards the have you tried a beer for your golf? No, I haven't. But I'm not above it, Mark. I'm not above it. Real quick, Doc is getting ready to come on. Before he does, I got to show you that this episode went out on processed foods. This is the Common Sense MD latest episode, went out this morning. Honestly, you read that title and you wonder, well, you know, what is there for me in that? I know I eat processed foods. Honestly, it was super encouraging to me. It helped me know kind of why processed foods are bad. Also, you know, what we can do to kind of limit their negative effect. Because he mentions in this episode, it's almost impossible to completely avoid. But he does a great job of just teaching us how to navigate the world that we live in today. And this episode of Explain This with the star of the show, Robin Riddle, was super timely. It seems this time of year we always we'll do an episode or two around seasonal affective disorder. It honestly wreaks more havoc than you might realize, affects more people than you might realize. So super important episode. I hope you guys watch it, share it with somebody that may be having a rough winter. It's really wild, the impact that the weather can have on us. So Robin does a great job of explaining that and some things you can do. The big message in that episode is to just be aware of it. And that way you can kind of take steps towards preventing it. And then over on the Diabetes Tour Guide, our brand new YouTube channel with my brother, Andy Rogers, goes over an interview with Derek Morgan, who is over at Vital Sign. It's actually our next door neighbor in our brand new West Knoxville office. And Derek was diagnosed with type 1 at 52 and kind of goes over, you know, that whole thing and also the nutrition plan that changed his life for the better. Super inspiring. Andy does a great job of talking with Derek and asking. I mean, these are two type 1 diabetics talking to each other about some of the struggles and some of the things that have really worked out well for them. I think anybody can take a lot from it, whether you have type 1 diabetes or not. If you are pre-diabetic or type 2, that whole YouTube channel is built for you also. Teaches us how to eat well, especially around carbs. I believe Doc is ready to roll. I'm going to remind you guys, it is Black Friday week. in all of our offices. They're super busy right now, and we've got the whole crew on the phones right now. These are Tri-City specials, and then right here is our Knoxville and Fountain City specials. Guys, if you're a patient of any performance medicine, you got to take advantage of these specials. They're our biggest discounts of the year. This is our busiest week of the year. So please take advantage of those. We promise we will get to everybody. If you leave us a voicemail, leave us a DM, we will make sure everybody gets those specials honored. All right, let's see. Let's get Doc in here. What's going on, man?
Hey, Ben. You don't sound too good.
How do I look?
You look fine. You don't sound very well, though. So if you don't
sometimes
want to do a lot of talking, I don't blame you tonight.
Sometimes, you know what? I kind of feel like I decided before the show, I'm like, I'm going to let Dr. Rogers shine tonight. I'm really going to let him shine, and I don't want to take anything away from you tonight. It's going to be all you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
How's Black Friday week been so far?
Oh, we're having a great week. It's the holidays are really fun around our office and all the offices. We get in the holiday spirit. We just have fun. A lot of people come in, call. We're having a good time. Thank you to all the employees, especially Katie and Carter.
They are absolutely doing amazing. I know the hours they put in this week are crazy. So shout out to everybody on the performance medicine team. We certainly do appreciate you. And like I said, if anybody has trouble getting a hold of us, we're going to get to everybody who leaves a voicemail, who leaves a direct message. We'll honor these prices for everybody this week. You ready to get to some questions?
Yeah.
All right, real quick. I want to I'm going to say, Rachel, what's going on over in Johnson City? I know if you've called the Johnson City office, you have talked to her this week. Lisa, what's going on? Carter, what's going on? Great to see you. Great job this week. You guys are doing amazing. Terry, what's up, man? Let's see here. We got great questions in the comments. We're going to get to those real soon. But before that, let's go to a couple questions that came in throughout the week. This is a common question we're getting as of late. Is there any update about availability of peptides? Also, would it be safe to use BPC 157 and CJC 1295 with ipamorelin at the same time? Give us a quick update on this.
Yeah, I believe we've found a place that we still can get them from. And again, it's just certain peptides that, they're trying to weed out just because either they work too well or, the FDA just doesn't like them because there's something similar in the branded world. But yeah, BPC 157, which I'm pretty sure can still get, we can get that. You can take that in injectable as well as orally. But and CJC 1295, that's one that I take that they're trying to cut out. And Samorelin, which is along the same lines as the ipamorelin, not quite as potent, but is fine. But you can certainly take those together. They work in different manners. So certainly I take them together. So there's nothing wrong with it. So I'm just hoping, we can use our whole array of peptides and not have to just limit them, but stay tuned. But for right now, I'm pretty sure we can still get them. So you might want to get your supply in because who knows?
And I see here in the comments, Katie saying we can only get BPC orally. So thank you for putting that in there, Katie. Is there any orally versus it's not sub-Q, it's
sub-Q. Yeah.
Is it sub-Q?
Yeah.
I'm sure the effectiveness is probably a little bit better sub-Q. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, usually I prefer an injection over an oral of almost anything. It just seems to be more potent. But some people don't like shots, and certainly the oral is fine too. Maybe not as potent.
All right. Thank you so much for that question. Came in over email. We're going to get to this question here. I love, excuse me. I love these questions around timing with vitamins. I'm going through this as we speak. trying to perfectly time out my vitamins throughout the day. This one is saying, regarding skipping vitamins once per week, should we also skip supplements that aid in reducing blood pressure, like beets, garlic, etc.? And it goes on to say, how about things that help arthritis, degenerative pain, like turmeric and glucosamine? So this is in regards to kind of taking breaks from vitamins that maybe are helping more acute type stuff. Is that kind of, am I
That's a
reading
good
that right?
question. If you have high blood pressure, you probably don't want to skip it. If you're not on blood pressure medication and you're relying on, things like beets and garlic to hold your blood pressure normal. Again, you could try not taking them one day a week and just see what happens to your blood pressure. But I prefer to keep the blood pressure low most of the time. As far as the other ones, yeah, I think you should probably think about it so you don't get so tolerant. It's not going to hurt you to take them 7 days a week, and you're probably going to forget them once a week anyway, unless you're real obsessive. But so that's just kind of my theory on it. I think it works pretty well. Kind of like when you take hormone cream. You should probably, skip Sundays or one day a week, I think, just to kind of prevent tolerance. But again, there's no harm in it at all. So,
All right, great question there. We got one more question that came in throughout the week, then we're going to get to the live comments. So if you have a question for Dr. Rogers this week, go ahead and put it in the comments. We'll get to each one tonight. These questions are always very important, especially since we do a lot of hormone therapy, and a lot of people have this exact question. It is, what type of hormone therapy is safe for a woman who has had estrogen receptor positive cancer? And I'm thankful for the kind of the context here, because we obviously talk about hormones being great in general. But I know there's certain people you wouldn't do hormone therapy on. What's your thoughts on this question here?
yeah, it came up today in a patient. But so if you have breast cancer or have had breast cancer with estrogen receptor positivity, and usually that comes along with progesterone positivity as well. I don't think I've ever seen one that just had one of them positive and they weren't both positive. And it's the most common type and the most curable type as well. But so you don't, if you have this or have had that, you do not want to take estrogen or progesterone in any form. So we use testosterone. We use it carefully, because sometimes some of testosterone can aromatize to estradiol, but I hardly ever see that. But there's a lot of evidence that testosterone, especially in pellet form, can reduce the risk of recurrence of breast cancer. So there's a surgeon in Illinois. She uses it on almost every one of her she's a breast cancer surgeon, and she uses testosterone pellets on most of her patients. And there's a lot of her research, the rates of recurrence are lower. And certainly you need to monitor all the levels and all, but that is a really positive thing. And out of all the hormones, testosterone is the one that makes you feel the best. So testosterone, look into that. Don't be afraid of testosterone, but keep an eye on levels. Great
And we
question.
say keep an eye on levels. Which levels are they looking at again? I'm
The
sorry.
the blood levels of the hormones, like estrogens.
Okay.
And that fact. And maybe even thinking about getting a Dutch test that shows urinary metabolites of estrone. So if you want to take a deep dive into it. But great question. I like testosterone.
All right. Thank you for those questions that came in throughout the week. We're going to get to, excuse me, live questions here. I'm getting a couple suggestions for my Thanksgiving, and I appreciate these. I think I think all these are going to work. I like Jack's suggestion also. Thank you. I might have to. That might be my Thanksgiving evening. Appreciate you guys. All right, we're going to get to one step forward here over on YouTube. If you have a question for Dr. Rogers, go ahead and put it in the comments. On CT calcium tests, how do you rate Agatston scores? When do you find them in need of more attention? If high, what test would you recommend? Also, can taking high levels of vitamin D have an effect on results? Can you explain what this is? I'm not familiar with the Agatston.
Yeah, this is a great question. Of course, the Agatston score is the way they measure how much calcium is in or around your coronary artery. So, CT calcium is something we order on almost everybody that comes in our clinic. It's a CAT scan that's very inexpensive, very low dose radiation that shows us not only your lung fields as a bonus, but it shows us your coronary arteries, your particular coronary arteries and how much calcium you have in and around them. You really can't tell if that calcium is inside the vessel or outside it. I had a patient today who had a really high score, and they did a coronary catheterization, and there was no blockage inside. The calcium was all on the outside. But it is kind of it's a great thing to order because there's a correlation between that and how much plaque buildup you're getting. So say you have a fairly high score, and the next test, in my opinion, the great thing is a CT angiogram. It's kind of like a CT calcium. It's another low dose CAT scan, but they actually inject some isotope in, and it's just a way better picture of the inside of your coronary artery. So a lot of times I'll get that test. And a lot of it depends too on, the risk factors, symptoms, all this stuff. The CT calcium in itself is just a screen for certain age groups. I usually get it at men and women at 40, 45 years old. And a lot of how I treat their blood pressure, blood thinners, cholesterol particles depends on what I see on this calcium score. So if you have a high score, you want to look a little further. And another thing I'll do is a carotid IMT, which is a carotid ultrasound. That's a special one that we actually have folks come up from Atlanta, every couple months to do these. And it actually gives you a thickness of that innermost layer of the carotid artery. That's very highly correlated with what's going on in your coronary arteries, in your heart arteries. So that's, and we look at a lot of other things too, like is your LDL oxidized? What's your myeloperoxidase? What's your particle size of your LDL particles? How big is your HDL particles? But as far as vitamin D, no, I don't think it does. Vitamin D, of course, if you got too high vitamin D, like way over 100, you could lay down more calcium, no doubt about that. But that's going to be rare. And I always remember that you take D with K. When you take the K, it lets the D bring the calcium into the bones, not the arteries or joints. So D with K. So I don't think that's going to affect the overall test results. But great question. Get a CT calcium, but don't freak out if it's high, and don't be super assured that you don't have anything atherosclerosis going on if your score is 0. You still could have some minor plaque. As a matter of fact, all of us, starting with teenage years, start building a little bit of atherosclerotic plaque in arteries. So it's really interesting. The stuff gets complex, but you need to kind of sort it out. It's not a cookbook thing. But wonderful question.
Excuse me. Great question there. One step forward. Thank you so much. We're going to go, let's see where we're at here. Let's see if I can find, here we go. I'm getting a lot of suggestions for my cough. I love that. Keep putting them in there if you guys have them. Katie can help us with this one. Have the new vitamins come in yet? I believe
I
this
think
might
they
be in
are.
regards to the creatine.
Well, our energy formula, Katie can tell
There we
you.
go.
Yeah, that's the new one. Plus, the new energy formula now has the taurine in it. It's
There we
in
go.
there,
Yep, the
which
new
are
formula.
two of the newest things we've done. But yeah, check the multivitamin out. That covered. That's the best. I think that's the best multivitamin I've ever seen.
And that is it's the super vitamin in the Dr. Rogers formulas. Thank you, Jack, for putting that in there. Let's see where we're at. Good evening, Robin. What's going on? Great to see you. Let's see. Kelsey, what's going on? Great to see you. Happy Black Friday week. Let's see. And yep, Katie's saying the creatine and new injury complex both 10% off this week. Let's get to Caesar's question on Facebook. Can I take more than one Dr. Rogers energy complex tablets, maybe 3? So this is with the energy
You could,
complex.
you could, you could.
What's
A
your
lot of
thoughts on
people,
this?
a lot of people take, pretty high doses of CoQ10. But yeah, it's not going to hurt you to take more. Um, you may have a lot of energy, hopefully, but yeah, it's not going to hurt you.
And this
You take 2 or 3, no problem.
this might help some more people. I'm kind of in the thick of this myself. I'm trying to figure out. I want to take the immune complex right now, but I also know that I need more vitamin D and more vitamin C. How would you like we've talked a little bit off camera about this. Still take the immune complex, but also take C and D separately as well. Is that just for
Yeah, you
someone
could
who's
take when you get sick like you are. Again, the immune complex. You should. Some people take it every day. Of course, it's fine. Um, but I take it when I'm going to be traveling or around. Like right now, I'm taking it because there's a lot of sick people around, and it just gives you more, like your NAC, your quercetin. Um, and if we can flash up what else is on there, it'd be great. But you get a little extra zinc, and there it is.
let's see if we can
Um,
find it. It's hard to see with that picture. We'll try and come up with. I'm sure there's
Bigger picture,
another one.
just the immune complex. But yeah, I mean, but what I do, because I like to get a lot of D and C in for a few days, 5 to 7 days when I have something like you. Like I told you, take 50,000 of D a day for 5 days. You can take a gram of vitamin C every hour until you start feeling better while awake. That's always a good strategy. You're not going to overdose on those for that period of time anyway. Um, but and zinc, I wouldn't probably, total zinc, I wouldn't go over 100 milligrams.
Yeah,
Then you'll start depleting your copper. Or if you take my super multi, you're going to get copper in there, as well as boron, horsetail, lycopene. I've forgotten what all great stuff I'd put in there. So I looked at it today on the super vitamin. It's kind of loaded. Take it with food. But in any event, the immune complex is a great vitamin you should be taking. But the other stuff you need to just don't take 50,000 of D with K, take 5,000 D with K, your 180 milligrams of MK7. So take plain D3 for the rest of your 50,000 during your illness.
got it. Got it. All right. Thank you so much for that question, Caesar. Let's go to Mike's question on Facebook. Still having trouble sleeping. Does Dr. Tom still like Saffron? The 100 milligrams trazodone does not seem to be helping. I do have a high tolerance for meds. What's your thoughts on this?
Hey, Mike, that's a great question. I had a patient today who liked Saffron, but it's the first time I've heard this. They had too many dreams on it. And that's
On
kind of like you
Saffron?
on Saffron. Yeah,
Huh.
kind of like you would see with LDN. I see it a lot with LDN. But I'm like you. I tried trazodone one time to sleep, and I did not like it. Some people love it. It just made me feel just almost paralyzed. I'll never take it again. Although I do give it to my dog, Ike, occasionally when he gets all crazy. Um, but yeah, I really like Saffron. I think it's great for anxiety. Now, it's not going to put you asleep like a sleeping pill would. You want to avoid that. But, um, there's a lot of things you can do. I really like um, LDN for sleep, low dose naltrexone. I like saffron because it tends to help anxiety and also helps people not crave things so they lose a little bit of weight on it. Um, Other things you can do, of course, magnesium should help you sleep. Um, Gosh, there's so many things. If you wanted to look at a prescription medicine that is not a benzo or even a Z drug, you can look at something like Remeron. Some people like that. It actually affects the melatonin receptors. So look that one up, Mike. So there's a lot of other stuff that could help you sleep. Again, get an Oura ring, measure your sleep, see how much trouble you really are having, how much REM, how much deep you're getting, and what's the latency. What's your body temperature at night. I love the Oura ring. That's a great gift for Christmas. And I think something flashed up on my internet where there's a Thanksgiving sale on those right now. So tell your friends about that. You might want to give somebody an Oura ring because they're awesome. So there's other things. I just love saffron. That's probably my favorite herb as far as all around herb for anxiety. I'm not sure it's going to put you right to sleep, but of course, I'm sure you've tried melatonin in higher doses. I still like melatonin for most people. Some people it just doesn't affect at all, and some people take a half a milligram of it, and it works great for them. So I tend to like the intermediate release rather than the fast release because
Yeah.
a lot of people take melatonin, it puts them to sleep, then they wake up. So I like the longer acting formulas. So there's a lot of things you can do for sleeping. Sleep hygiene, of course, best thing. Go to bed the same time, get up the same time. Very dark, cool room. Avoid lights. Avoid watching TV in bed. I'm sure you know those things, but still, for those who have real trouble, think about even getting a sleep test. But so I do like saffron, not particularly for a great sleeping pill, but for overall anxiety. Some people like my stress formula. I love to combine vitamins, and my stress tab. A lot of people love it for sleep, and what it has in it is saffron, L-theanine, which tends to cut down on mind chatter at night. If you're thinking about what you got to do the next day, and it really cuts down on what I call mind chatter. It also has ashwagandha, which I think that's the best adrenal adaptogen is ashwagandha overall. If your cortisol levels are high or low, that's what it means to be an adaptogen. It helps whether you're high or low on your levels. But try that Dr. R's stress formula. I like it because it's got several of them, and you're probably going to have to use a combination. You could even use melatonin with that.
Mike, thank you so much for that. Sleep is so important, and being able to measure it has changed my life in a big way with that Oura ring. I think Katie's saying it's you can use your HSA for a darn Oura ring. That's incredible. It's
Really?
$100
Wow.
off this week. And here, Brooke, it's so good to see you. Brooke is our provider in Kingsport. I'm sure you've seen her in the Red House. She's saying that CBD, magnesium, L-theanine, and melatonin is a
Yeah.
great sleep combination as
That
well. Brooke,
is
thank you so
that is
much.
a great combination. I forgot about CBD. I do
Yeah.
like CBD, and there's different kinds of CBD. CBDN, CBDG. We have our own formulation that we have made of CBD, and so the CBDN people really like. Um, um, some people like the Delta. I particularly did not like the Delta, which has kind of a legal way to get THC in there.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's the one I like, the blue raz. Forgot all about that. So certainly you could combine that with melatonin and that our stress formula, and probably a great combination.
Thank you, Mike, for that question. Thank you, Katie and Brooke, for chiming in there. Let's go to Velma's question. If I'm missing people, I'll make sure I get to them. What can be done if losartan potassium does not lower blood pressure, taking 25 milligrams systolic 160, but diastolic 60 to 70 doesn't seem to be lowering it? What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Your pulse pressure is high, which means the difference between your systolic and diastolic. So your systolic's too high, your diastolic's on the low normal side. But 25 milligrams of losartan is just like spitting in the wind. It's not enough. I do like losartan because it just doesn't have side effects. I hardly ever see anybody that can't take it. It's a much cleaner drug than lisinopril, which I try to get people off of. And it's still protective of your kidneys in diabetics. It's an ARB rather than an ACE. But so I'd go up on the dose. 25 milligrams is not enough. I like to get that systolic down to 140 or below. And I doubt your diastolic's going to go further down. Watch it though, because then if it lowers that too much, you're going to get orthostatic hypotension where you stand up, you feel like passing out. So certainly I would go up to a normal dose. Most people I have on losartan end up on 100 milligrams of it. So definitely try the 50. And then it just depends on the situation. Sometimes I'll add a little bit of different things to it. I don't particularly like HCTZ, which used to be the way we did things. We'd add that diuretic, but that's really, HCTZ is very toxic to your endothelium. So if I have to use a diuretic, I hardly ever have to use them in men, but in women, I'll choose spironolactone, which I think is a lot better. But so there's other ways to do it. Sometimes if the maximum dose of losartan doesn't do it, I'll add a calcium channel blocker like a low dose amlodipine. That's really effective before I have to go to some of the other things like beta blockers and alpha blockers and things like that. But great question. You're not taking enough of that losartan's the easy answer to that, but see what happens when you do that. Okay, your doctor, if you're following with a family doctor besides me, I don't like to do anything behind somebody's back, another physician. And certainly we have to say this is not medical advice. Talk to your doctor.
Yeah.
However, I am a doctor, so I can give you my opinion.
Velma, thank you so much for that. Let's get to Deborah's question here. Can you take stress relief if taking cumin? I'm assuming this is the Dr. Roger stress relief with the saffron. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Whenever you add any vitamin or medication to cumin, which is a potent blood thinner, always check your pro times and make sure it's not affecting it. But to my knowledge, I haven't seen it affect that. I don't have a lot of people that still take Coumadin. But some people have to, artificial valve patients, etc. But keep an eye on your pro time. So if you start taking it a couple of weeks later, get a pro time and see where it's at.
All right, Deborah, thank you so much for that question. Get to Mark on YouTube. With all the processed foods we're exposed to, what countermeasure do you suggest to mitigate the effects? Detox, cleansings, etc. There's a little bit of a question in regards to the Common Sense MD episode that went out today. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, great question. Probably should have gotten more into that during the podcast, but certainly you do need a detox. And, always look at the gut first. I really like something that I take called GI Detox. It has a binder in it that's really good. It has a little bit of activated charcoal in it. And one other, I think it has something called fulvicin in it. But so I like GI Detox. I like milk thistle. I like drinking a lot of clean water. I think that helps, and making sure you're having normal bowel movements, things like that. Sweating a lot. I love my infrared sauna. Exercise. Um, there's another thing that I've come upon recently that I like. It's called citrus pectin, and there's a lady, a nutritionist in California I really like, named Myers, and she has a Myers detox product that includes enough of the citrus pectin in it, as well as a couple other things like a binder. Not only you want to be able to get to that toxin, in there, and you also want to be able to bind it to carry it out. So it has one other thing in it that really helps too. So I really like that product a lot. Um, uh, that's a great question. Best thing to do is try to avoid them, but it's so hard. You're going to
Yeah.
get some of it. So I do like detoxes, and those are my favorite. EDTA is something else I already take. I started taking that because that's a chelator. I just take it orally every day. I did that because my CT calcium scoring was 92. It was all focused in my LAD too, the Widowmaker. So, of course, I take an aspirin, but I added EDTA because I think it is a chelator. So it kind of helps bind up minerals and like calcium and metals as well. So think about that one.
Mark, thank you for that question. And I'm going to get to my brother Steve over on Facebook. Great question around CoQ10. What is the best way and time to take CoQ10?
Hey, Steve, that's a great question. I like it in the morning. It tends to energize you a little bit. Um, and the best way to take it, really, remember this, is with PQQ.
Yeah.
Most people don't even know that because what CoQ10 does is stimulate your mitochondria to put out more ATP, which is a source of all energy if you go back to biochemistry. But what PQQ does is stimulates each cell to make more mitochondria. So they work great together. I like it in the morning. And again, I added to my energy formula, I added taurine to it, which is the only good thing that you're going to get out of a Red Bull. And plus, it's in recent studies, taurine is kind of the go-to anti-aging longevity product because it has been shown to increase lifespan in mice by 30%. Human studies are underway, but we study a lot of things in mice. But so that's what I would do. But great question.
Thank you for that, Steve. Great question there around CoQ10. I see Katie Liz here from Bristol. Thank you so much, Katie, for being here. Great job this week over in the Bristol office. Kelsey's in here as well. Tracy, what's up? Happy Thanksgiving to you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see here. Mike is asking where can we get the sleep gummies? Pretty sure they're in all the offices. I know they're in the West Knoxville office as well as the Fountain City location in the Knoxville area, as well as all the Tri-Cities locations.
Pretty soon we're going to have an online
Yeah.
place that you can order these vitamins from.
Yeah.
We just have to make sure it's done right.
That will be available here shortly, and we'll keep you guys on the show. You guys will know first, obviously, once that is up. Let's see here. I think Jack has a question, if I'm seeing this right. Jack is asking, is it true that coconut oil and milk thistle helps absorb berberine?
I tell people not to take milk thistle. I don't really tell them too much about coconut oil right around when they take berberine, because it could adversely affect the absorption. So I don't know. That form of berberine that we have from Zymogen really is supposed to be a very absorbable form of berberine. But I haven't seen milk thistle do this. I've just read a report of it. Not to take it around a lot of other of your vitamins, but take it on an empty stomach. But if anybody has heard anything else, let me know. But berberine's a great product. I love berberine.
You do love berberine. That is one that comes up a lot on this show. I know how high you are on that. And that is, it's not metformin. It's not like an alternative to metformin.
It is an alternative to metformin.
It is an alternative.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's great for,
That's the way
lowering
I
your.
think. I think of it as maybe lowering your sugars.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's
Okay.
an it's a natural alternative. I think it works as good as metformin without some of the side effects. There's a lot of pros and cons to metformin if you do your reading, but even metformin too can really upset your stomach, give you loose stools and all that. Um, which it did with me. I must have a sensitive stomach, but even berberine did it to a certain extent. That's why I finally found out a product from Zymogen that I white labeled as Dr. Rogers berberine. So it just doesn't do that. It's very different than some of the berberines you'll get over the counter. So I'm glad you brought that up about the berberine.
Thank you, Jack, for that question. I think I'm through most of them. If I'm missing some, go ahead and put them at the bottom here so I can see them. I'm going to go back up here to Bianca's question because I was actually just thinking about this. Bianca, it's Thanksgiving week here as we're recording this. What
Hey,
are your
Bianca.
favorite Thanksgiving treats going to be? I know mine. What's yours?
Wow. I love pumpkin pie. Kelly,
Yeah.
my daughter, makes a great pumpkin pie. I love turkey. I love dressing. I love gravy, but probably my favorite is really cranberry. I love cranberries.
Interesting.
That's always, to me, it's not Thanksgiving unless you have cranberries. I've been watching them, harvest these cranberries in these bogs. It's really just fascinating about how Ocean Spray doesn't really own the cranberries. They just market it and put it in their cans. That most of the cranberries are actually owned by these community clubs in these different areas up north. And so it's really neat the way that they've been able to benefit their communities with these cranberry bogs,
I love
which would be a
that.
lot of fun to go in and wade around in them sometime.
I love that.
That'd be on my list to do, some days to wade around in a cranberry bog. Cranberries
Uh,
are kind of good for you.
I think that's so cool. My for me, I cannot wait for just I'm a dressing and gravy kind of guy. I love dressing. It's like cake to me. I love it. And the pumpkin pie. And my cousin Ruthie makes these. They're like these dot cookies, and they're
Yeah, what are they
phenomenal.
called? Yeah,
I I think they're called dots, something like that.
yeah. There's some had a little piece of chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
um,
they're phenomenal. I honestly, Thanksgiving's the best, just the best food of the year. I can't wait for all of it. And real quick, let's see here. We're getting a couple more questions. There we go. We have a success story. One thing we love to do, guys, is give some encouragement here on the show, and that's right. Bianca's fingerprint cookies,
yeah.
and and this is from our good friend Jake Weaver. He knows my grandmother Mary. He's over at the Blake. I believe he's the general manager over there.
He runs
And
the
man,
Blake.
he just had just
Does a
glowing
great
things to
job.
say, and he looks great. He's just an amazing success. Pop, you got anything to say about Jake? I know you've
Yeah, I'm just
helped
real
him in his
proud of him.
journey.
I mean, he's really, really doing great. I'm really proud of Jake. And this little boy is one of the cutest little boys I've ever seen. Look at him in that picture. He's kind of cut off on one of it, but look at how he's growing up. And yeah, Jake's just really happy. He's got a wonderful family too. He's a
Yeah.
great guy with just the best family you could ever imagine. And I wanted to congratulate his dad for becoming the head soccer coach at DB for the boys soccer team
Oh, that's
as of
amazing.
last week. But just a great family, and you know, um, sometimes you go through these periods of your life where you gain weight, and it's really not too much your fault, but you just need some help getting back there, and that's what I really love to do in my practice more than anything. Actually, when I formed medicine, it was for that sole purpose of getting people leaner and more fit instead of just throwing a bunch of medicines at them for their blood pressure, their diabetes, their high cholesterol, then their arthritis or depression. So it's been gratifying to have this kind of practice, and for him to put that up there is really, I'm thankful for that, because he likes to help other people out, which is what it's all about. And a lot of times a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
In this case it is, but when you talk to him, he's just so happy.
And I'll read this because I know a lot of people listen to the show while they're doing other things and might not be looking at this. But Jake Weaver's lost 54 pounds, and he says here, people really need to know that vitamins make a difference. Dr. Rogers put me on milk thistle, D3, B12 complex, Dr. Rogers Super, and Saffron. Also, he encouraged me to try intermittent fasting. And Lucas Schmidt, our nutrition coach, and you guys have seen him on Dive Into Diet, also helped me with a diet plan. The most important part for me is not the weight loss. What changed my life was I stopped putting my body in the hands of doctors that threw a pill at any issue I had. Dr. Rogers changed my medications, got me off antidepressants, and got me focused on my health. Turns out vitamin deficiency was a major issue for me. I truly believe in it. If it wasn't for performance medicine, that I would really be in a dark place in my life. Thankfully, I'm now happier than I've ever been. Thank you, Dr. Rogers. Man, I don't know that.
That's awesome.
I don't know
you.
that there's a better compliment than that, man. Wow.
Well, I'm really proud of Jake, and thank you for allowing us to help you. I mean, to me, when somebody comes to my office, it's always an honor, because it means somebody trusts you to help them out, and so you need to deliver. And anyway, thank you, Jake, and I'm proud of you.
Yeah, Jake, we are so darn proud of you. And for those, there's 49 people with us live tonight. I hope that offers some encouragement. You've often talked about how, weight loss is not only about, the weight. A lot of people think of it as an aesthetic thing, but there's so many other things. I think you mentioned one time that, weight loss makes every part of your life better. And it got a little pushback because, I get it. I'm empathetic towards that. But I mean, I think Jake is a pretty incredible example of how losing weight can impact all areas of your life. And man, we're just so proud of you, Jake. Thank you so much for sharing that, and huge shout out to you and your family and everyone over there at the Blake as well.
A lot of people take weight loss in the wrong way. They take obesity. They look at obesity the wrong way. Obesity is really, when people say, well, they're being fat shamed or whatever, discriminated against. Really, obesity is a metabolism problem. It's not a character flaw or it can certainly lead to mental disorders, but it's not a character flaw or laziness. It's a metabolism problem, and it's complex. Those gut hormones, other kinds of hormones. So it's complex, but it's a problem that can be helped. And it's not just a cosmetic thing. It's for your health, and that's the way you should look at it. Certainly, in my opinion.
I'm going to put this up here. I love this from Lisa. Ben, my latest update, I've lost 103 pounds and no insulin anymore. Lisa, that is incredible. You guys who've been with us know Lisa. She's here with us each week and shares the broadcast, and can't tell you how much we appreciate that. But Lisa, we're so proud of you. That's incredible. Keep up the amazing work.
Awesome.
So happy for you. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Okay, looks like we got some more questions. Let's see here. And I'm going to put this up. I don't know, but maybe some people in the comments might know. Cranberry bog somewhere around here, maybe in Johnson County. Does anybody know of a cranberry bog?
Wow.
I bet Dr. Rogers is going to be there if you guys let us know.
I'd like to see it. I would love to see it. I'd probably I'd probably go jump in it.
Oh, there we go. Sherry's saying it's in Shady Valley.
Wow.
That's cool.
That
That's
is
super
really.
cool.
I'm gonna go up there.
Shady Valley. Thank you for that, Robin. Thank you for that sharing. Let's get to Karen's question. When I first started taking Eliquis for AFib, I was told to stop the berberine. Do you see a problem with berberine while taking Eliquis? What's your thoughts on this?
I'm not aware of that. I'll have to do a little research on that. I would probably not take it right around the same time you took it because it could affect absorption a little bit. But like we were talking about before, I'll do a little bit of research on that. I'm not really, nothing's popping into my head as why you shouldn't take them at, the same day. But great question. I'll look into that. Good
Karen,
question.
we'll put that down here as something to do a little more research on. Thank you for putting that in there and kind of spurring that topic. Excuse me. Let's see here. I don't think I'm missing anything. I got a couple of little Thanksgiving turkey gravy dressing, coleslaw, mashed potatoes, yeast rolls. Totally agree. Let's see. Mark saying dressing balls. I agree. Anything dressing, I love. Let's see here. Roel's giving a shout out to Lisa. Thank you so much, Roel. I love that about this community here. I think the comments are some of the most encouraging places to be in health and wellness. So thank you, Roel, for contributing to that. And then I love this from Mark. A pill for all your ills is not the practice of medicine. It's pharmakeia. There we go. I think we're through all the questions, guys. One, I gotta say thank y'all for putting up with my voice here tonight. You guys made it super easy on me, and y'all were super patient with me. Pop, thank you for dealing with my cough.
No, I appreciate you having the guts to do it, and thank you for. I hope you feel better. I look forward to seeing you on Thanksgiving, and just really take care of yourself, and we'll see you soon. Thank you for getting through this with us.
And I will say real quick, it is Performance Medicine's Black Friday specials week. Specials are happening all week long, so you can give the office closest to you a call. Any day this week except Thursday. We are closed Thursday, but we'll be back open Friday, and we're open tomorrow as well. So if you want to take advantage of those specials, don't hesitate to call one of the offices. I see Ike's in there, Izzy. They're trying to close out the show. We love you guys. Happy Thanksgiving, Sherry. Happy Thanksgiving, Carter. Thank you so much for everything. Mike, happy Thanksgiving, man. We love you guys. Thank y'all for being with us tonight. Grandma Mary, I love you. I'll see you Thursday. I'll be healthy by then. Pop, love you, man.
Love you too, Ben. Hope you feel better.
Hey, should we say go Vols? Got a little.
That's right. Vols. They play Purdue. Your former Ben coached Purdue's tennis team at one point, and so UT is where he went to play tennis there. So that's two of your teams, two of your alma maters going against each other tonight in the Maui Classic, which will be a good game. I think Purdue's ranked number one, maybe.
It'll be a fun game. Happy Thanksgiving, Caesar. Happy Thanksgiving, Steve. I love you, man. Thank you for being here as always. Let's see. You guys are the best. We love you. Pop, love you, man. I'll see you. I'll see you in the next day or so.
All right. Good night.
All right. See you guys. If I can find my outro. There we go.
Don't go away.